Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Damla, and I'll be your host today. And first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone that tune in to this live event of the Karen awareness event this evening. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you all learn something new today. For those who doesn't know yet, and we do have a server presenter and a performance for the Korean community here in Saskatoon that will share a latest history and culture, politics, and music to give you an idea of who we are as a Korean people. And first, I'd like to start with a video, show you a little bit about our Korean here in Saskatoon, Korean community here in Saskatoon. So I'd like to ask Wei if you can play the video for us, please.
The Karen people are indigenous to the southern eastern Asian country of Thailand and Myanmar, and they are one of the ethnic groups in Myanmar. The Karen people have been fighting 60 years civil war against the Burmese military for autonomy and cultural rights, and many of the Karens have fled to Thailand refugee camp. When arriving in a refugee camp, we took a picture holding the numbers to identify us. We were numbers there. That was the very first picture I ever took in my life. For many refugees, the camps are the only reality I've known. We are Karen, and this is our story. Hello, Yafawada, the Chikinia Sagatone, our Kobio, a Supudo, our head, or a Dupa, one is the Uber of the but our Dolava, the Hipocona Dolava. Only people call a community to be the Bucera, and the other one to be the color, not about the favor, who the favor the head cover should you call. People let their walk with it, not he love warning, not their wall, the government they were he love warning, but they all walk, no one, but I let him le wabu, but le clonny where, or I get on your Pashipida, Pashipida to get our he love where up not the teeny, it of over one pallet or the Ticlopula, hey, you are a lot of wood and hello, they were honey. Pony, feel you little bit short at you. Now, the short dealer, I could take put off, turn on the doctor. But I behave in the by 2 quarter by little couple of you in. I will do what out, the little puppy. The water poured the put up the top of the elevator. And there the head to look at daddy. Because that come on me, Baba. Come out of the tea valley, the valley of Java. Yellow cannon, me, all a call the bee. Now, one a year on it, and yet to roll on it. Get out a corner, killing already to work to see. Now we got the Maro leader in the thing. The leader called one in a pound and get out a corner. In 2007, the Karen refugees arrived in Canada. In the same time, many of them facing the challenges living in a new country. And the Karen community fights to keep the culture alive among of the younger generation. The children's choir is one of the many activities we do to keep kids practicing the language and the culture.
With the elder, we learn how to hand weaving, shoulder bands, and traditional clothing. Our weaving patterns and color make us different from other ethnic groups. Our Korean traditional food are rice, fish paste, porridge, and chili paste. Korean peoples are all about family. The seniors bring wisdom, knowledge, and life lessons. We are keeping our culture alive.
Not to forget myself as Karen is important for me because if my culture is not alive, then for me, I am dead too. I'm not alive either. So it's important for us to keep our culture alive so we can pass on to the next generation, keep going on so we won't forget who we are, where we came from. Yimi Kenyapo. Yimi Bwaganyo.
Yimi Bwaganyo.
Yimi Bwaganyo. Yimi Bwaganyo.
I was born in Canada and I am Karen.
Thank you, Bue, for the beautiful video. And I want to special thanks Juliana and Etuda for making this video for us. Very nice and very good. I really like the video. We do have a presenter and performance. I'd like to ask Sese to share with us a little bit about Karen, the culture, and also teaching us about the Karen alphabets. So Sese is there? Yeah, Sese, take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Sese and today I'm going to share about traditional clothing in Korean culture. This is traditional Korean dress. And we call it semowa. You will only see Korean single lady wearing this dress because after they get married, they can't wear this dress, this semowa dress anymore because this is only made for a single lady. The original semowa dress is only white, but nowadays people can wear this dress in any color that they like. Can be red, blue, yellow, or black. And I also want to teach you all the Korean alphabet. There are 25 letters in Korean alphabet. This is the first letter, and we pronounce it Kado, Kagoa, Rasi, Kado, Nga, Satapla, Tatabi, Shakweme, Nyanyoka, Tawasu, Tataki, Datada, Natasi, and this Batako, Papawi, Bapaku, Madita, Yaocho, Rake. Lakeko. Wakowa. Thadoko. Akiso. Thadoko. Yaoto. Akisa. Raketa. This is all for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sissy, for sharing us a little bit of the culture and the Karen alphabet. So if you ever travel to Karen territories in Myanmar, if you see a lady wearing a white dress, that means she's single. She's not married yet. So just to make it clear. Thank you, Sissy. Followed up, I'd like to ask Kamui for sharing a story or performance, what happening right now in Myanmar. So I'd like to ask Kamui if you can share with us a little bit about it.
Hello, Yumila Kamui Ena. Hi, my name is Kamui. Today, I would like to share a little bit about myself and the challenges of the current people right now in Myanmar. And just so you know, we are not those Karen. I just want to share a bit about the ordeal of a little girl I learned about recently. She and her family had to go through the traumatic experiences that no kid deserve to go through. She and her family had to leave the grandmother behind because she refused to be carried while running from the Burmese army, worried that it would slow them down and put their lives in danger. At the time, she was about 10 and her sister was 7 years old. Her little sister was sick and no medication. She soon left the world. After 3 days, they went back to see the grandmother who stayed behind and starved for about 3 days. Her grandmother could not speak. The girl also shared that the Burmese army killed her uncle, removed his intestines, and cooked him. This is so heartbreaking. I could not bring myself to read it again because it scares me. It was so horrible and hard to imagine what she had to go through. For the same reason, my family had to run when I was about 3 years old. My family and others in the village had no choice but to run from the Burmese army before they reached our village. My earliest memories were when we first arrived in Tamhik refugee camp in 1997. Um, 2 weeks after my mother had given birth to my second brother. Personally, I do not have a lot of memories before life in the refugee camp. As a child, my parents provided the best they could for us. All I knew was go to school, play with friends, usually after school we skate rope and do some fun activities, and sometimes my brother and I will walk from our home to the hospital to visit our parents where they worked, while one of my aunties would be searching for us. Early on, the United Nations has given the refugees opportunity to resettle aboard. So one day, my grandfather came back from his trip, and the next day I know, before entering grade 4 in 2004, my family decided to move to Myanmar refugee camp, followed my grandparents, where some of my relatives are, and stayed there for about 2 to 3 years before we were able to immigrate here to Saskatoon in 2007. While I lived for 10 years in the refugee camp, I was never able to return to Myanmar. Presently, the Karen are again fleeing, just like back then. The Karen conflict is an armed conflict in Karen State, formerly known as Karen State, Burma. The conflict has been described as one of the world's longest running civil war. The Karen nationalists have been fighting for an independent state known as Gothule since 1949. Since the coup on February 1st, 2021, and military attack on Karen villages, the Karen are again trying to cross the border in Thailand, but are being forced back to war zone. The current situation for Karen refugees and IDP is urgent. There are pregnant women, elders, children, and patients from a clinic that was bombed at the end of March. Back in at the end of March, back in April, a woman had complication, gave birth. She and the baby died on the way to the hospital in Thailand. What happening today What is happening today in Myanmar is one of the reasons why many of us are now everywhere in different countries, and this has become our lives. But members of Korean community in Saskatoon still have family members in Myanmar and in refugee camp. These recent attacks brought so many emotions to our community and affected some of the families here in Saskatoon who have lost their loved ones in current situation and will be dearly missed. Recently, I come across one of the article headlines referring to Korean soldiers as rebels because they attacked a Burmese army base in their territory. To me, that doesn't sit right because my grandfather, his cousin, my parents served in the Korean army to protect our people even before I and my brothers existed. My grandfather joined the military when he was 16. Legally, you must be 18 to join. But see, our people have suffered, give him the passion to fight, to protect our people. This is coming down through the generations since my great grandparents. The Korean soldiers have never given in and they continue to fight to protect the civilians with honor. They are our pride and why many of us are alive today. The Korean people is the indigenous people of the territory who have been the victims of ethnic cleansing for over 70 years. So to me, referring them as rebels is dishonoring and disrespectful. I urge those who write articles about us to do some self-education and research before writing about the Korean people because they deserve better than being called rebels. Especially right now, we need articles and news to bring awareness about the Korean nation and provide essential humanitarian aid. We are desperate and need help to stop Myanmar military coup attack on an armed civilian currently hiding in the jungle. And I have a video about 2 minutes long. If we can go ahead and show us, that would be great. Thank you.
Are fleeing their homes as Myanmar's military coup sparks more unrest. I had to flee across The river, people say the Burmese will come and shoot us, so we fled here. A truce between the untrusting Karen and the ruling Tatmadaw army quickly deteriorated when the coup was launched in February. The quiet southeastern state of Karen, now the site of persistent guerrilla warfare. On Tuesday, the Karen National Liberation Army attacked a military outpost, killing 13 Myanmar soldiers. It marked a step up in fighting from the Karen forces, who were banding with urban pro-democracy groups to put pressure on the military junta. The retaliation came in the form of airstrikes, pushing thousands more villagers to seek refuge in Thailand.
The situation has escalated and we can't go back. Security officials won't let us. We can't go back.
Thailand has yet to take sides in the conflict, ever closing on its own border, but those fleeing have been met with humanitarian assistance. In a statement, the Karen Peace Support Network said in the coming days more than 8,000 Karen will have to flee to Thailand. We hope that the Thai army will help them escape this war. There's no end in sight to the violence as the international community pushes for Myanmar's military to stand down. These displaced families given no option but to await that day. Tyson Whelan, ABC News.
Thank you so much, Kamui, for helping us understand a little bit more about Myanmar, and what is happening there right now is probably happening right now while we're speaking. So it is so sad and very scary for the Korean community in Saskatoon here to hear about the violence and fighting in Myanmar today.
Scuttling around the steep hilltops of this remote mountain frontier haven't been seen.
Thank you, Kamui, for a wonderful speech and a wonderful video. And I'd like to ask our good friend Wei to tell us a little bit about our Korean community here in Saskatoon. We do have community here in Saskatoon, and Wei know the community really well. So I'd like to ask him to share a little bit about it to us and to all our guests that are watching. So, Wei, can take it away.
Hello, I'm just want to make sure everyone is hearing me okay here. Can you all hear me? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Boy, and I'm ethnically Karen for Burma, formerly known as Myanmar. And I was born on the border between Thailand and Burma, and I live in Thai refugee camps for many years. I came to Canada when I was 17 years old, and I have been in Canada for more than 10 years. I am currently volunteer in the Karen community of Saskatoon as a community coordinator. And I love spending time with my Karen community here and listening to their stories and promoting our Karen culture and their needs. And I am blessed and honored to be part of the Karen community here in Saskatoon. And in between 2007 and 2010, thousands of the Karen ethnic refugees came to Canada, and they have spent their lives in refugee camps in the jungle on the Thai border. And they came to Canada because of the ethnic cleansing, and many have suffered from severe persecutions, including torture, imprisonment, forced labor, and burning of the villages, and forced relocations in their homeland. Parents and elders had already been disciplined when they fled from the Burmese army, burning down their villages on the refugee camp along the border of Thailand. And many young Karen were born and raised in the refugee camps, including me. And until coming to Saskatoon, and this was the only life we knew. And in 2007, there was a few Karen families came to Saskatoon, and most with little to no English, and many were not literate in the Karen language. And the Karen refugees have settled in Saskatoon with the help of the Saskatoon Open Door Society, and they have continued to live in the Meadow Green neighbors, and most of the children at WP Bates School and Mount Royal, and some of the adults have transitioned into work with a very limited English. And since arriving in Saskatoon, the Karen have formed a small community group called the Saskatoon Karen community. And the purpose of forming this community group is to stay connected with the Karen locally and globally, and to keep our Karen culture alive. And one of the main goals is to maintain and practice our Karen language, culture, and tradition, and share with everyone in Saskatoon, and to be part of Saskatoon. And since arriving here, our community has offered classes and workshops such as Karen language classes, hosting Karen summer culture camp, and Karen elder storytelling project, guitar lessons, and community gardening. We also always celebrate Karen New Year's with a special event. We try to promote and share Karen culture with greater Saskatoon community, and advocated for the needs of our community. And we are slowly stay connected and try to be connect with the people outside of our community. And our Karen community is slowly engaging outside of the Karen community. And I think because of the trust and the language barriers, and our entire life has been in a refugees, and we don't really know who to trust and where to begin when we arrived. And we cannot thank Canada enough for accepting us, and we're no longer refugees, and we are slowly learning how to be part of this beautiful country, and learning how to use this opportunity and freedom, and allowing us to be proud of who we are as a Karen. And finally, I wanted to remind and ensure our future generation to listen to the elders' story, and to keep on practicing and our language, culture, and traditions. And this is important in order to protect and preserve our culture and keep our culture from being destroyed. It is a blessing to be here, but also remember where we came from. We have our parents and our grandparents have overcome a lot to be in this country, and we are still struggle to keep our Karen culture alive in here. And let us keep in mind our people who do not share the same freedom that we do, and let us be grateful and work together for our people. And I want our people to have pride in our Karen traditions and share with everyone. And do not take the advantage of the privileges to practice our customs. And I hope that everyone will take on these challenges to help our people and our youth and our children to discover who they are and our roots. And thank you everyone for joining us virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Wei. Now that everyone knows there is a Karen people in Saskatchewan, so I hope we make more friends in the futures, like Risha at the Voice of Saskatoon, who is helping us with this broadcast, this event. I'd like to thank you so much. He's become our new community friend. Thank you so much. And we do have teenage children that born and raised here that will sing us a song that they recorded in Karen and English, right? Yeah. So I'd like to ask Wade to play us those songs. Thank you, Elijah. We have so many young talent born and raised here in Saskatoon, Canada. They can still speak and sing Karen, so very good. We try to teach the new generation the Karen here every summer. We try, but they also learn it through Sunday school. So I'm glad they can still speak and sing. So this is our close events. Then we are finished for this event, and I hope everyone learned something new today. For those who doesn't know yet, and I am very happy to share our community or our Karen people. If anybody want to reach out, you can inbox us here, or you can also text us on Facebook, Saskatoon Community, Saskatoon Karen Community page on Facebook. You can also leave us a message, and we'll try to answer the best we can. If we don't have the answer, we'll try to find it to answer you the best we can. So this is the end. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
My colleagues for joining us here.